Watches. We all have heard about the ultra rich, the 1% of the 1% people talking about investment in watches.
I've been buying watches for 3-4 years now. I have great relationships with the brands, but I decided at the end of 2020, hey, I would rather have watches than I would cash, to be honest. So yeah, long story short.
I argue that watches are actually not just fashion, not just a statement about who you are and the statement you're trying to make when you walk into a room. They're a phenomenal investment.
And if you follow this guys, I know you have wondered, why does anyone want to invest in watches? Our finance guy Sharon doesn't talk about investment in watches, right? I know whatever he speaks about finance is pretty good, and I personally like that stuff, but he doesn't talk about investment in watches. On the other hand, Iman Gadzi, who is a self-made millionaire at the age of 23, says that one of your first investments in your 20s should be in watches.
And just listen to me, please. The next best purchase you can make in your 20s is a watch, and by that I specifically mean an expensive timepiece that holds its value and is recognizable by other people. And yet for my, let's say, $3.5 million watch collection, I've only put in maybe $2.2 million out of that. So I've made, well over $1 million.
So what is this watch investment? And what is this watch industry? Even though this topic is not very popular in India, in the Western countries, it's quite serious. There is a whole YouTube genre talking only about watches and the watch investments. In this video, we'll look at the good as well as the bad, so that you get an idea of is an investment in watches worth it. If you're a person who has no idea about luxury watch market, let's start with what are luxury watches. We all know about smart watches. We know about band watches, but what are luxury watches? In simple words, luxury watches are highly expensive mechanical watches with high quality materials and very superior craftsmanship. These watches are mostly handmade and are seen as a piece of art. Just like a painting is way more appreciated than a digital photograph, luxury watches are often seen as symbol of status and wealth, and often worn as accessories rather than their practical purpose of telling time. So basically you can say luxury watches are for show off. With that, let's understand how the luxury watch market works in very simple words. The watch market comprises of 5 different players. First, we have the producers. The producers are the watchmaking companies like Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and much more. And if you are someone who is wondering why is Apple Watch not on this list, then let me break it to you. Even though Apple Watches are quite expensive, especially in India, they fall under the category of digital watches or smart watches, or you can say gadgets. They don't fall under the category of luxury watches. The retailers are players or people who directly sell these watches from the producers to the buyers. The first 2 players are pretty easy to understand. Let's talk about the last 3, the buyers, the secondary market, and the auctions. Let's understand this with a real life watch example. Patek Philippe is a Swiss luxury watch and clock manufacturer company, and in the year 2013, they released a new watch in their Nautilus series, the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711. This watch was in production from 2013 to 2021, and the retail price of this watch was around $30,000 or 24 lakh Indian rupees. By retail price, I mean the price at which you could buy this watch first hand directly from the retailers. Immediately after release of this watch, buyers created a very high demand for this watch. And by very high, I mean really very high. The waiting list for this watch was up to 8 years. President of Patek Philippe, Thierry Stern, in 2019 New York Times interview said that they are meeting only 10% of the demand for the 5711 watch, and it's going to stay that way. Talking about the buyers in the watch industry, there are 2 types of buyers. The first are the collectors and the second are the investors. These watches can be very expensive. but collectors are willing to pay a lot of money for them because they are so special and rare. Since collectors are willing to pay above retail price for this watch, the price of this watch in the secondary market and auctions started to increase. A secondary market is a place where you can buy these watches from people who already own these watches. You can compare this to OLX of India. A popular example in the secondary market is Chrono24. I'll add the link in the description. Do check it out later on. Looking at the rising price, the other type of buyers, that is the investors, started taking interest in these watches, and as a result, due to high demand and very low supply, the price of this watch shot up. The highest price ever recorded for this watch is $237,000. That is 1.92 crore Indian rupees. And this price is in the secondary market. That is 7.9 times its retail value. But in auctions, this watch has been sold at $400,000. And just FYI, this watch is completely made of stainless steel. No precious metal, no gold, no silver, and definitely no platinum. Still, its price is very high. So this way, due to very high demand and very low supply, luxury watches are reaching incredible prices. And Nautilus 5711 is just one of the many watches whose price has increased drastically in the secondary market. Here are some more examples. The Rolex GMT Master 2, that is the Batman, whose retail price was around 9 lakh rupees, is selling in the secondary market for 15 lakh rupees. Similarly, Rolex GMT Pepsi, whose retail price was 8 lakh rupees, is currently selling at 18 lakh rupees in the secondary market. Now, before you start looking at your bank balance for buying a luxury watch, let's look at the problems in the watch market. Do you see the problem over here? To explain the problem, let me tell you a story. In the year 1634, in Netherlands, the price of rare tulips called the tulip bulbs began to increase. And seeing this rise in price, people started to invest in these flowers to make a quick buck. But immediately after 3 years, that is in 1637, price of these flowers dropped drastically, and the main reasons for the price drop were: first, no regulation in trading. There was no one to regulate and keep an eye on the market. People were taking advantage of this to drive up the prices and manipulate the market. And the second reason was the price of a single flower reached so high that no one was interested in paying such high amounts for a single tulip bulb. And just FYI, the highest price of this bulb during this period was 10,000 guilders. Guilders is the currency of Netherlands, and if you convert to Indian rupees, a single flower was selling at 4.5 lakh rupees. So just imagine, a single flower was selling for 4.5 lakh Indian rupees. This whole rising and falling of tulip prices came to be known as Tulip Mania or the Dutch tulip market bubble. So now, comparing this with the watch market and seeing luxury watches reach incredible prices, a question arises in the back of our mind that, is watch market forming a bubble? And the answer is yes. Many experts, many watch experts believe watch market is currently forming a bubble. But is this bubble going to burst anytime soon? Typically, any bubble is bound to burst. Recently, there has been a dip in the watch prices, but people who invest in these watches are kind of people who can afford losing some money for a watch. And here's the thing about luxury watches. Unlike other investments like stocks or real estate, luxury watches are goods that, in addition of having potential investment, have the possibility of being used. That means even if the price of your watch goes down, you can still wear it and enjoy the stardom. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. I know this is a very new topic and a very vast topic. I hope I provided some insight over this topic. So see you in the next one.